Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Coming to you from Forged Relations here in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you don't know what Forged Relationships do, well, you probably should check them out. We're going to link them all up down below in the description box. I think I got a Gundy sitting right over there. But listen, I want to talk to you about yet another stupid piece of legislation. And I know it seems to be a never-ending story here of stupid legislation, and it almost seems like states actually try to one-up themselves. But we talked about a lawsuit against the Glock Handgun Company, and I told everybody, hey, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the opening shot in what's going to be all-out war on Glock. And apparently that is now coming to fruition. The first state to jump on the crazy wagon, of course, is the state of New York. Let's slow it all down and let's talk about a horrific piece of legislation. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about New York is going to ban Glock handguns. Okay, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to you by Right to Bear. That's right, legal protection for self-protection. Listen, good lawyers aren't cheap, cheap lawyers aren't good. You're not truly prepared unless you have Right to Bear back you. You will always get an attorney-answered hotline, so you will always have a confidential phone call. There are no cap limits for either civil or criminal defense. This covers all forms of self-defense. So from a fist to a firearm, from a fat lip to a dead body, you are covered, and you will have some of the nation's most passionate 2A attorneys in your corner fighting for you. And right now, if you visit my friends at protectwithbear.com and you use the promo code WGL, you will receive 10% off. Listen, you need to protect yourself so that you can protect them. Visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com. Okay, so here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about New York Senate Bill 9225. It is sponsored by Senator Myrie. This is a bill that, if enacted into legislation, would ban the sale of Glock handguns in the state of New York. You say, what? Why would they ban the sale of Glock handguns in the state of New York? Well, number one, they want to disarm you. But number two, see, the problem is Glock switches. And rather than go after the people who manufacture and import Glock switches and the people who buy and use them, no, instead the state of New York would rather go after Glock itself. Now, again, this, as we talked about in the opening, continues a long trend of this all-out war on all fronts against all firearms manufacturers. We saw this frivolous lawsuit being filed against Glock because apparently their firearms are too easy to put switches on, and I told everyone this would be the first shot in which it's going to be a very long battle to try to run this company out of business. This piece of legislation creates two new statutory terms, which I'll define here in a moment, and then in addition to that, bans the sale of certain items, which essentially means that you would not be able to purchase a Glock-style handgun, a Glock handgun, anywhere in the state of New York. Now, I know some people have gone out and said, hey, this actually has no grandfathering provision, and therefore anyone who owns a Glock would be required to surrender it. I don't read the statute that way, and I will explain why. I think that that's going a little bit too much with what this statute does for now. Not to say they can't pass new legislation later, but I do not believe that it bans currently pre-owned Glock handguns in the state of New York. Moving forward, though, it absolutely positively bans the sale, and I'll explain how. Now, as I mentioned, the statute creates two new statutory definitions. The first one is pistol converter, means any device or instrument that, when installed in or attached to the slide of a semi-automatic pistol, interferes with the trigger mechanism and thereby enables the pistol to discharge a number of shots or bullets rapidly or automatically with one continuous pull of the trigger. Or put other words, Glock switches. Okay, so they're going to ban that, right? Well, not exactly, because there's another statutory term. It reads, convertible pistol means any semi-automatic pistol that can be converted into a machine gun solely by the installation or attachment of a pistol converter. Okay, so we have two terms. One is pistol converter, better known as Glock switch, or a convertible pistol known as a Glock. Okay, so then what the law does is it bans the possession, any possession of a pistol converter, i.e. Glock switch, and then it bans the future sale of convertible pistols. It does not ban the possession of convertible pistols that was previously owned. The applicable section of this bill reads as follows. Any person, dealer, firm, partnership, or corporation who disposes of or who transports or ships as merchandise a convertible pistol is guilty of a Class D felony. So again, what this law does is it bans Glock switches, but then it also bans the sale of Glocks because Glock switches can be installed to it. And again, this is exactly like the lawsuit you're seeing against Hyundai and Kia because they make their cars too easy to steal. We're not going to worry about the car thief. We're not going to worry about the nefarious activity. No, we're going to go after the lawful and responsible manufacturer because, well, criminals have figured out how to abuse your product. And I can assure you, now that we've seen this piece of legislation pop up in New York, California, Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, Washington, Oregon, you're all next. You're going to see the exact same kind of thing. The Senate bill, once again, is New York Senate Bill 9225. We're going to go ahead and link it up down below so that you guys can geek out on it for yourself. If you got ideas for videos that we should be doing here at Washington Gun Law, you need to click on that link right there because some of the best ideas we had weren't really our ideas. In the meantime, if you got any questions about this, or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington Gun Law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. And then finally, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. From Forged Relations right here in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.